Oh, hello everyone. Welcome back for another breakdown. Today, we are looking at the often misunderstood, sometimes lovely, sometimes not as good, the sun sandwich. Yes, the dreaded sun sandwich is the focus of this breakdown today. We've got a beautiful looking ad shot by, I think it's Alexis Zabe or Zabe, and it is for technology, IBM. We start with some moody things of networks and everything is connected and electricity. Even the sky is connected. And then we get to the meat of the thing, which is people writing down things. It's anamorphic. We got a little floaty handheld. I'm an engineer. No, I'm a doctor. I'm in a port. Let me get out my laptop, then write things down. I'm famous. I'm not. And neither am I. And I'm in a building. It's fancy. Here we go. There's a railroad and other people. Colors, moving lights, handheld. Yes, the future is now. And there's Johnny Cash. I heard he didn't really go to the moon. And another lady who's got glasses. So does he. And you get where this is going, right? There's the man again, and more people, and it goes on and on and on and on. And there's people talking to camera. So this is a good one for faces because there's lots of people talking to camera. We're going to see a whole bunch of different ways to light things, but we are going to focus. Did you see it? Were you able to identify? There's only one in here. There's only one sun sandwich. And I give you, not you, you're not going to be the focus, nor are you, not you either, but you, young man. Now, let's go full screen. Now, what makes a sandwich the sun, right? What is the sun sandwich? Well, we got sun over here going this way. And then in this world, we have a giant bounce over here going this way. So you see the big reflection in his eyes? That is opposite the side of the sun. So we are getting sun from this way, direct sun, which gives us this hot edge. And then we're getting return sun from this way. So my man here, he's the meat in the middle, right? Unless you're vegetarian, then he is the arugula or the rocket salad, depending on where you live. That is this guy. He is getting sandwiched from both sides. Now, does this look bad? It might not to you. You might love this look, right? There's lots of great things that are going on there besides the key lighting. There's lots of cool stuff in the background, right? We got shooting along this angle back here. We've got depth with the machines. This guy's a farmer. That's why he's wearing that shirt. And you see the little transitions here. We got backlight in the background. We're shooting into the depth of this building. So we get shade on this side. We get sun on this side. We got the cool shadows happening here on the ground from the big tractor back here. Like a beautifully framed shot, right? And they're all of the portraits in this whole campaign, they're all this length and then significantly wider, right? That's the theme of the entire thing. But this is the only time we see the sun sandwich. Now, I have my suspicions why this particular setup is chosen for the sun sandwich, but this is a perfect example, right? Smushing from one side with the actual sun, and you can see there's no diffusion on here or anything. This is what raw sun on someone looks like. So we get this edge down one side of them, and then all of the return, which is kind of warm, is coming from this side, and you can see the reflections in the eyes. That's the sandwich. Now, how do you not do the sandwich, right? What's the way that you wouldn't do the sandwich here? Well, you wouldn't do the sandwich if sun was over here and the bounce was over here and the bounce wrapped the light around. So this would be your shadow side, right? So all of the level would be coming from here. And the trick is you balance the level coming from the bounce, right? Has to feather across the face. It feels slightly more natural. This one feels a little bit strange. It might not feel strange to just the normal person watching this, right? They may flick through all of these headshots and be like, well, they all feel the same, right? This one feels the exact same as this one, but it's not, right? It's not. There's some trickery going on out here. And there's only two ways you can go when you're exterior and you're doing backlighting like this, is you're either going to go with the sun wrap or you're going to go with the sun bounce or the sun sandwich, right? Sun sandwich coming this way. So the problem here with the sun sandwich is you have to make sure if the sun is over here and it's going to edge light him here, right? You can even see the dreaded nose shadow here, or the backlight shadow on the nose, because it's the way that he is standing. His orientation to the camera means that the light, either we got here a little bit later than we expected, or too late, or it's too low in the sky. And too low in the sky makes for awesome shadows. But if we were going to try and now get this more backy, this light, this little edge more backy, the camera, we would have to rotate around this way. So we orbit around this way. He then turns his head, because he's going to look straight at camera like all the other portraits, means the sun is now in the shot. And all of our sky goes completely clipped white because we are trying to bounce level in, but we've got to hold the actual sun in the sky. It all goes a bit pear-shaped. We also lose our cool angle in the background, right? This is what makes this shot cool, is this angle in the background. Why did my pen go small again? Let's go back to normal size pen here. Okay, so if we did do that, that's what would end up happening. So to get around that, if we were to bounce now from this side, with the sun way over here, maybe we don't have the angle, or maybe we don't have the level, or maybe it gets too dark over there. But say you wanted to, say even in this situation, you wanted to do the sun wrap rather than the bounce. Sun over there, that's adding this edge, right? You could maybe, if we weren't so high on this, if we weren't so portraity, like if this came down to more normal anamorphic framing where you lost all up here, really, you'd lose this little bit up here and you'd gain a little bit more down here. You could fly some diffusion this way, or just over here on the ground, depending on the focal length. You soften this up, and then you bounce from this side to get the wrap, right? So you have your 12 by bounce, and it doesn't have to be a 12 by 12, but the bigger the bounce is, the more natural it's going to be, right? You never see like a 4 by 4 poly in the real world. You see big buildings or big sources or big something like this in the background is maybe behind the camera, and that's what's giving us our bounce. It just feels more natural the bigger you can make it. The sky isn't small, if you didn't know. So just think bigger is always better. Then we run the neg down this side to add a little bit of shape, because we want shape, we want contrast. And then if you wanted an edge, you edge this way, right? This little tiny leak. And you can do that with the neg. So if you've got the neg running this way to camera, like just imagine this is the 12 by neg and it's right out of the frame this way. Well, that cuts off all the light on this side of the face. But instead of having it like this, straight up and down, over here, instead of having it like that, where it's, 90 degrees to the talent, right? You have it like that, which is not 90 degrees. This is 90. Nope, right? It just opens up at the back. This is the neg now. When we open it up at the back, it lets in a little bit more ambient on the back side, and it cuts off more towards camera, so you get more contrast in here. So what ends up happening with the sun wrap is we get edge here that, if we can't get enough level from the bounce, we have to soften it. So we'd soften it with like a highlight or a half soft frost or something like that, something light. Then we're bouncing in with the sun to wrap around to the other side of the cheek and all of this stuff. Then we're negging to give us some shadow on the side of the face. And then we are opening up the neg so it just lets in a little bit of this ambient sky, lets it in on this side. And that's how you do the sun wrap. So if you don't want to do the sun wrap, you do this method, which is sun out of the shot, edge light, and then from the opposite side of the sun, you have your bounce, right? Then you don't have to neg over here. You don't have to do anything over here because you're going to get enough level from the bounce that you're going to be able to create some contrast here, right? So that's the sun sandwich. Still in the background, everything is still going on with the framework that we still talked about. It's just that one little tiny choice. Now, is there an example in here? When we go normal, like this location gives it to you naturally, right? This is more sun wrap because, even though it's not sunny out there, even though it's like an overcast sky, you can imagine even if the sun was back there and we were being backlit, the light is coming around from the sun side. We're not smushing light back in this way, right? Because that wouldn't be very natural. That wouldn't be normal and it would take a lot of level. Where's another one? This one, same thing, far side key. We know that one. We're not going to do that this time. Let's see, does Johnny Cash get one? No, Johnny Cash has got just normal lighting from this side, a little bit on that edge, dark on this side. Equations, right? Let's go to somebody else. Overhead. This guy's not really rowing. Check this dude out. You're not really rowing. Like this one again. Okay, now this makes more sense, right? Because we got outside light going this way, wrapping around to the other cheek, and then a little bit of darkness on this side, which is doing all of this work, right? That's like your normal sun wrap. Sun sandwich. Now you will forever know this look. Again, this is a nice one too because you got that nice line back there. We're wrapping around, we're on the shadow side. There is a Philly light in here. You can feel it's like a different color. It's like a tungsten-y color that's on his skin, just filling in there, right? If you don't want too much shadow, if it's a little bit too crushed, you can just open it up with a lamp like that. It doesn't feel like it's bouncing anything back because it's a different color. But again, shooting towards the window, there's the L of the room. We've got this nice contrast back there. We're not talking about that this video though. We are looking at our sun sandwich man. Even in this one, right? Like this one, not super natural because it feels quite lit, you know? Feels quite lit because the sun is so far down. This level here is just, it's a little bit lifted, which means if you wanted to sit it more in here and make it feel more natural, you just have to lower the level on this lamp over here. But this is obviously the style that they're going for. This is not sun sandwich. This is not. This is not. And that is a sun sandwich. Ladies and gentlemen, be on the lookout for it. Now you will never unsee it. Wrap from the same side as the sun if you don't want the sun sandwich. If you don't mind the sun sandwich, bounce from the other side. Bounce from the opposite side. So you have person in the middle, sun over here, wrap over here. Or bounce over here, I should say. If you want to go the traditional sun wrap way, you go sun this way, bounce here, person in between. Ta-da! And that's how you get a sun sandwich. So go forth. Maybe you like that look. Maybe you like sandwiches. A lot of people do. That will do it for this episode. Many thanks for checking it out. Hopefully you liked it. I know there's a lot of questions on exterior daytime lighting is very, very difficult, right? It's not as bad as exterior nighttime because you don't have to think as much in advance. You can sort of fix it on the day. You don't have to plan as much and it doesn't catch you off guard if you're working on something big, a project that you've never worked on that scale and you got to think about all the ins and outs. If you get to daytime exterior, as long as you get the schedule right and everything is backlit, you can sort of be like, well, you know, I don't know, I didn't plan on this shot. We did an overhead drawing on the Tech Scout. I said, let's get a 12 by of neg, let's get a 12 by of ultra bounce, and we want to be here at the right time. Well, then if you get there and you're looking through the camera and you're like, this looks, I don't know, what have I done here? Oh, I've done the sun sandwich. Well, it takes 2 seconds to, well, it doesn't take 2 seconds, probably takes about 5 minutes to move the 12 bys, put sandbags on them, weigh them all down. Probably takes, 5 minutes to change that. Change this to bounce and this to neg versus this bounce and this neg, right? It's not that hard. Nighttime exteriors, significantly more planning. So hopefully it helps. If you've got suggestions for either looks that you want to see broken down or specific commercials that you want to see broken down, leave them in the comment section below. I appreciate you checking it out, and we will see you in the next one. Goodbye.